Hey, good afternoon from Raleigh, North Carolina, here in the southeastern United States. Um, so I actually wanted to record this yesterday. Um, it was the anniversary of I think seventh anniversary of Emory Tate's death. He was a chess player, an African American chess player. One of our more highly rated African American chess players. He actually got to be international master. I think the highest peak ranking he had was probably about 24-13. Um, he was not a grandmaster, and it's interesting. I think I saw on Reddit where people were wondering, well, why wasn't he ever a grandmaster? Now, folks, that's pretty simple. In order to become a grandmaster, you must have hit 2,500 at least one time. And moreover, you needed three grandmaster norms. And Emory Tate never accomplished any of that criteria. But somebody got real persnickety about it. It was like, can we please stop posting? I couldn't figure it out why it was any of his business if people wanted to know more about this. But somebody just got very triggered about it. Um, Emory Tate, if you know anything about chess, he would be what we would call a tactical player. A lot of tricks, a lot of snazzy combinations, a lot of sacrifices of pieces. If you are familiar with Mikhail Tal, as far as I know, and from what I've heard him, when I heard him speak, and I've never heard him speak live. I've never met him, but he very much was a fan of Tal and playing in the style of Tal. To be honest with you, he may well have even been more wild than Tal. um, as far as I know, and apparently he has a son um, who is a kickboxer. And I wasn't aware of this. Kickboxer, mixed martial artist as well, who said that his father never studied, didn't like computers, and he would just play. And you know what? From the games that I've seen from him, that seems to be very, very accurate. I can believe every word of that. Um, the fact that he got up to international master without studying, and like I said, I can believe that he didn't study. Um, it's just a testament of how talented of a player he was. Um, it's interesting with the games of Tal. We found that computers, chess engines, we call them, have picked apart many of his victories. A number of sacrifices and combinations he had were just not considered sound play. But with that being said, um, with that being said, still a very great player. Well, Emory Tate was very much the same way. Um, that almost assuredly, it's a good thing he did look at computers, because my guess is computers would have discouraged him from playing the way he wanted to play. It was, oftentimes when people talk about um, Emory Tate, they talk about, and truth be told, I do find this language offensive. So I'll use the term, but I think I'm going to find another word as we proceed. They often talk about the scalps he got. Once again, I think that's a very highly offensive term for Native Americans. My goodness, we changed the name of a football team for it. But he did have some astonishing upsets. Um, I think the estimate is he defeated 80 grandmasters. Now, someone said he defeated 80 grandmasters, but he lost to far more. I think one estimate was maybe 300. Maybe you have something better. Um, I'm trying to think what the most notable upset would be. I'm guessing it's Nick DeFerman, who was, I think, 3-time U.S. champion. Um, Peak rating about 2610. I think he's now, in the mid 2450s. So probably like 2450, 2460. But Grandmaster is a lifetime title. Interesting. The first game that I saw from him, and I went over the game. I'm going to be honest with you. He lost that game, but I must tell you, maybe if he studied more, he would have won that game because he had that game won. I was astonished. I think one of the commentaries was that he sacrificed unnecessarily, and maybe not. But even then, from what I saw, I could imagine a C or B rated player being able to win with what he had. But he just collapsed at the end. But he had that game. He should have won that game in 1995. But in 2001, he just ripped the Furman a new one, just destroyed him. And there was just no doubt that he won that game, because he finished it. But there were numbers of people who would tell you this. Joshua Watkins, Searching for Bobby Fischer, if you're familiar with that book, he would tell you that basically, he would lose to what you would call an expert. And in chess, that is a rating of about 2,000. But he'd also blow a grandmaster away. And grandmaster is a title that the U.S. Chess Federation does not confer. That's from FIDE, the international organization. But certainly a much stronger position, a much stronger title than expert. But it was wild. Like I said, I've never met him, but I remember we were building a chess team, powerful chess team, or at least we tried, and maybe it succeeded in many ways at Texas Tech. Now, as I say we, I understand that I played little to no role in this. I was on the team, but I certainly wasn't a superstar, far from it. And matter of fact, once we got these strong teams, I was never on these teams. But in whatever hand I had, I guess I'll claim it. But at any rate, but I remember we had a friend. I won't bring up his name, just out of respect for him. But he said that he was at the U.S. Championship? I think it was U.S. Open. I think this might have been the U.S. Open. So not the U.S. Chess Championship per se, the closed championship, but the U.S. Open. This friend, I believe, has a FIDE rating of about 2140, somewhere around there. A Blitz rating of about 2201 FIDE. I'm not sure what his USCF rating is, but I'm guessing it probably would be above 2200. If it's above 2100 FIDE, it's probably above 2200 USCF. He would play chess, blindfold chess. Well, a lot of times when it was blindfold chess, it was just that you couldn't see the board. You didn't necessarily have to wear a blindfold. And he would drive, and he would beat people while he was driving and not being able to see the board. or in this case, the smartphone or, whatever. So this is how strong this guy was, right? He said, I am going to play Emory Tate. And I'm about to play right now. And I was like, awesome. I couldn't wait to see how well would do. If I'm not mistaken, I got a call about 5 or 10 minutes later, I think. It was not long. I was thinking that maybe he lost his keys. Maybe Emory Tate didn't show up. Maybe he got there too late and, whatever. Perhaps there was a bomb threat, you know, because he's calling me back 5 to 10 minutes. And I said, wait a minute, are you done already? He was done. I don't recall, well, he lost, but that's not the way he put it. He put it was beautiful. Apparently, Emory Tate had treated him with a queen sacrifice that he was not prepared for. And this game ended very quickly. And if I'm not mistaken, it was probably about 5 to 10. It was not very long between when he said that he was about to play Emory Tate and when the game was over. But it was interesting. His peak rating was 2413. If I am not mistaken, I think his final rating was just above 2200. So, so actually he didn't have a rating much higher than my friend eventually, but I've got to tell you, of all the players that I want to see games from, I want to see Emory Tate victories, and I'll probably look up more of them. And that guy was something. Anyway, take care, y'all. I'm waiting here in the carpool for my children, but I really wanted to share this, and I don't know if anybody's ever going to listen to this, but I really, really love that guy. I thought he was a wonderful player. I think I friended him on Facebook, and he kept a friend, I think, for a little while, but then I guess he realized he didn't know who the Sam Hill I was, and dropped me and accepted someone that he definitely knew, and I know too, who's doing some chess teaching in Brooklyn. But at any rate, it was so wonderful to be able to share this with you. He's one of my favorite chess players. All right. Actually, I also wanted to share, I think he actually won an armed services championship as well, quite a few years back. I want to say 2003, but I could be wrong, because he was also in the armed services as well. Well, anyway, folks, it was a pleasure. Take care and goodbye.